artists aren't the only people who are involved in the conversation about change. For instance, last night, WKYC Studios hosted a virtual conversation, a good conversation, between community leaders of Akron and law enforcement officials from Akron, too. And the main topic was this: where do we go from here?
Yeah, big question, right? And hopefully we get some answers. As Jason Frazer shows us, in the end, all of them said it was time for change.
I can tell you I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't believe that in 2020 something like that could happen.
Judy Hill, the president of the Akron branch of the NAACP, sums up what many people thought when they saw the horrific images of George Floyd killed by a Minneapolis police officer while in police custody last month.
For someone to take a life knowing that they were being videotaped, it bothered me, and it changed the way that I looked at the situation.
For me, the very most disturbing thing about the video is the fact that there were other police officers standing there watching.
Lieutenant Bill Holland of the Summit County Sheriff's Department says training is a big part of his life in law enforcement, but it's tough to try and be objective or even understand what was happening in that now infamous video.
The first thing that comes to my mind is I never try to Monday morning quarterback anybody. So I don't have all the facts in front of me. All I have is the videos that I was shown. On face value, it's not a good video for law enforcement.
The discussion then turned to what happened in cities all around the country and even right here in Cleveland in the wake of Floyd's death. Protests, many of them were peaceful, but some were violent. Reaction to a death of an African American at the hands of a white police officer was different, all because of the point in time where the country is today.
Folks were forced to look at it, and they did not have the usual distractions. COVID-19 did this, in my opinion, because a lot of folks aren't working or they're working remotely. They were confronted with this, and they were forced to marinate on this, have a conversation about this, sleep on it, wake up. Folks, that condemn a lot of the things that they've seen around this country, what they really need to understand that people do not riot or cause the property damage that they have seen when everything is okay. If people are treated with dignity and fairness in a society, they don't do those things. If there are bad relations between law enforcement and a certain community, that bad relationship didn't start overnight, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. It's going to take time, and it's going to take conversations and mutual respect by both parties.
So where do we go from here? The panel talked specifically and agree that for the most part, that Akron and Summit County leaders have done more recently to bring everyone together. But action in the community is key.
One of the things I firmly believe we need to do is to get everybody out to vote. If you don't like what you see, then we have to make a change.
Is key, but in weaponizing vote. I believe in being very specific about who to vote for. I believe in being very specific on why.
We proposed a piece of legislation that passed unanimously on Akron City Council. We took it a step farther than just banning chokeholds. We also made it criminally liable for police officers not to report or intervene when they see abusive use of force being used.
The panel all came with different ideas to share, but they all agreed that something has to be done, and now is the time.
Changes has to occur with the younger people because there are folks who are set in their ways, and I think with mutual respect, I love that. You mutually respect me, I don't think we'd have any problems. But the problem is, for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, there was no mutual respect.
Jason Frazer, 3 News.